Now, since winning their 5th World Cup in 2002, they failed to make it back to even a final in the last 4 editions of the tournament. Today, Alexis Nunes interviewed Rafael, of course, the Brazilian international, formerly of Manchester United, now with Lyon, and asked him what it will take to win their 6th World Cup. And he said a lot depends on their talisman.
We need Neymar. That's for sure. We need a lot of him. He need to improve a lot of things. Like I said, outside the pitch is important for the footballers. So he need to improve a lot outside the pitch to come inside the pitch and do his best. So I hope he can do that. And if he does, we have a big chance to win.
And I mean, when you look at last World Cup, of course, as well, and before, you know, he got injuries and stuff like that. You could see how, like you said, on his best day, it's almost impossible for anyone to stop him. Do you think now that we're moving on and it will be 4 years then, do you think he would have matured enough to be that leader that Brazil needs?
I think Neymar is not a leader. I don't think he's a leader. This is not him. But I think he can do the things he does, because like you said, if he's good, if he's like focused and concentrating his football, he is the best player in the world. But I think football is not his first option of life today. You know what I mean? Like he has so many stuff around him, he does so many things. So he thinks in his mind, I don't need to do that to play well. I don't need to, you know what I mean? So you need to, a lot of things you need to do. And like you said, like I said, if he does that, if someone can put this in his mind, because I know him, I play with him, I play Olympic games with him, I've been in national team with him. I know he's a hard guy to listen the others. You know, when you speak, not good with him. I'm saying the truth, but sometimes you don't want to say this. Some people don't want to say that. Don't want to listen to the truth. They want you to say you are good, you are magic. They want you to say all the good stuff, but the life is not like that. And I think he need to listen more. And if he does that, it'll be hard to stop Brazil.
Explosive stuff then from Rafael. Here to discuss it, Frank Leboeuf. But really, we have to start, don't we, with the #1 Neymar fan, of course, attendee to his birthday parties, calls him Nene. Julien is with us. Jules, what do you make of those comments? Pretty strong stuff.
I'm not really convinced, I have to say. I think Rafael is a lovely guy and a good footballer, but I'm not really sure I'm on board with that. The thing about his life on and off the pitch, everybody is free to do what they want. Maybe Neymar would be a better player if he was maybe not partying as much off the field. Maybe he would not be. I don't know, maybe Rafael would be a much better player if he was going out more. I'm not so sure. And in terms of the leadership, I mean, come on. Neymar is your best player. He's the best player at PSG. He's the best player for Brazil. He's your leader. Maybe he's not the biggest voice in the dressing room, but Zinedine Zidane wasn't either. And yet he was France's leader. He won the World Cup and the Euros as France's leader because he was the best player technically, but the best player on the pitch, full stop. It's not because you have the biggest voice in the dressing room that you're a leader or not a leader. That doesn't define you as a football player. If you're the best in your team, then of course you're a leader. And you lead by example on the pitch by making your team win games.
Why would he make this up though, Jules? Why would he come out and say things like Neymar can't take criticism, doesn't listen to people who've got negative things who are trying to help him?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't have time before the show to check how many times they played together. I don't even know if Rafael had played for Brazil. But if he'd hardly played with Neymar, how would he know that anyway? Maybe it's the impression he has from the outside or from what he hears in Brazil or from Brazil if you want, and when the national team plays together or anything like this, and when he's faced Neymar as well. He's done it a few times since he moved to France. But I don't know. I think criticism is part of football right now at the moment, and as a footballer's life. And I think Neymar knows that pretty well. Some reacts better to others to criticism. It also depends where the criticism comes from and how how it's placed. But I've never been told, or I've never seen Neymar not being good with criticism. I think he takes it on board and moves on, maybe quicker than others. But I'm not really on board with what Rafael had to say. I have to say.
Frank, what do you make of it all?
Very strange way of talking with a maybe possible another time teammate for the national team. I think it's not appropriate. I can make critics because I'm not friend with Neymar, because it's my job to say what I think. But I think you have to a little bit sometimes refrain of criticizing a friend of you when you have the possibility of maybe to play. It makes no sense, because as Jules said, you can be a technical leader without being a leader itself. Didier Deschamps was a leader. He was talking. Laurent Blanc was a leader for the national team, French national team. They were talking. Both. Zidane was a technical leader. And I think it's what has been asked to Neymar at first. They don't care about him talking to the rest of the squad. They want him to be the best on the field, to show the way to success. So I don't agree with what Rafael said. I think what just Rafael told us or tell us is that they're not friends. Otherwise, he would have talked another way about Neymar. Yes, you can say some stuff to your best friend. Yes, you can say that in the dressing room, maybe on the pitch, but not in front of the camera when you have the possibility to play with him another time.
It's interesting, Jules, you picked up the Brazilian angle on all of this, and being married to a Brazilian, I'm exposed to a lot of Brazilian people within my life, and it's fascinating to talk to them about Neymar. Everyone is negative about him. Every single person that I meet, it seems, who have got links with Brazil have got something negative to say about him. And this is Rafael, of course, pouring fuel onto that. And I speak, why? What is it with Neymar? Why? Well, you know, he's diving. He's about the money. He's about the party. He's about this or that. But you feel like Ronaldo were like that as well. But they seem to get a pass in Brazil compared to Neymar, Jules.
You're right. I find it fascinating, the treatment or the image that he has back home, which can't be easy for him to deal with as well. Maybe because the expectations were so big, so huge from a very young age, when he was 16 at Santos, 17 with the national team, and etc. And hasn't really happened for him in Brazil in the World Cup mostly. Copa America has been a bit different, but in the World Cup, that maybe he's been seen as the one responsible for Brazil not achieving what they should have achieved maybe in World Cups. And then if you point the finger at him, then you look not at the talent, because surely everybody in Brazil knows how talented he is, and that he's one of the best in the world potentially, technically. But maybe pointing the finger as his way of living, those criticism comes from that. If you watch the documentary, the All or Nothing documentary on Brazil, for example, you could see already how different he was, maybe the privileges that he had with the national team, but also with PSG, and maybe some people don't like that, and maybe that's why a lot of the criticism is aimed at him and aimed at what he does as a player and the lack of achievement maybe that he's had with the national team.
But then he doesn't help himself, does he, Frank? With the rolling around, with the shoe on his head, with the celebrations, with some of the words that he comes out with, sometimes you feel that despite the fact he's mature on paper, obviously in his late 20s now, you can still kind of think, well, he still acts too much like a kid.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's the prime, I think, for many people. I remember Zinedine Zidane in '96, before the European Championship in England, as at the position of a leader, and didn't fill up the position with his games, and has been a little bit criticized. But we reach another level where we criticize the man, we criticize the way he behaves in and out of the field. I just want to talk about what he does on the field, and there is a way of selfishness when you see him playing, when you see him the way he behaves, and I think it's what it is, and it's what people dislike about Neymar Jr. is that it doesn't go with the rest of the squad. It doesn't fit maybe what Brazilians used to see with their stars, with Ronaldo, with Rivaldo, Pele, that those guys were loved by their teammates. It's not the case with Neymar. The talent is there, for sure, for everybody, it's obvious. But the mentality is not. It's more, again, a selfish guy playing fantastically well sometimes, but not giving enough in terms of communication on and out the field to please even the Brazilians.
Last word on this to you, Jules.
I just think it can't be easy. Whether you like him or not, I don't think it can be easy to be Neymar. And again, having that kind of reputation and all those expectations since a very young age, and maybe not being ready for it, and having that weight on your shoulders all those years, with obviously the top of it being the 2014 World Cup on home soil, where you get that injury against Colombia, and after that everything is a nightmare that you wish had been the biggest dream of your life. And I just don't think it can be easy right now. And as you mentioned earlier, as you know so well, Brazilians, I think, are quite hard to please and quite hard to convince. And I think Neymar could have been very different had he had more success with the national team earlier, maybe. And now he has to dig in again and try to do between now and the end of his career to please all the Brazilians who've had so much expectations for him and he has never fulfilled.
Brazilians are indeed hard to please. I can attest to that. Thank you very much, gentlemen. You can listen to that full interview, by the way, with Rafael over on a special podcast we've put together. Him chatting to Alexis Nunes about lots of things, not only the Brazilian team, but Manchester United as well. You can listen to that podcast over on the website. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN+.